My name is Emily Harper. I'm 27. Last Christmas Eve at 2:47 p.m., I was standing in my mother's kitchen holding a printed itinerary for Gulf Shores, Alabama, a trip I'd saved $2,340 for over 6 months of night shifts, while my mother told 15 relatives on speakerphone that I'd be watching all 5 grandkids on Christmas Day because, and I quote, Emily doesn't have a family of her own anyway, so it works out. I remember the exact pitch of my sister Melissa's laugh in the background, high and sharp, like glass breaking. My brother Ryan didn't even look up from his phone. Mom, I said. My voice came out smaller than I wanted. I have plans. I told you 3 weeks ago. I'm leaving for Gulf Shores tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I showed you the rental confirmation. My mother's face didn't change. She held up one finger, the universal sign for not now, and kept talking into the phone. Susan, you'll drop Caden and Bree off at 9, right? Emily will have breakfast ready. Mom, louder this time. I'm not going to be here. She finally looked at me. Her eyes were cold in a way I'd learned to recognize over 4 years of this exact conversation. Emily, we'll discuss this later. There's nothing to discuss. I'm going to Alabama. I have a non-refundable rental. I took time off work 2 months ago. Melissa turned around from the stove where she'd been stirring nothing. Oh, come on, Em. You're really going to bail on the family for a beach trip? By yourself? The way she said by yourself made it sound like a disease. I'm not bailing. I made plans. I told everyone, plans change, my mother interrupted. She set down her phone, and I heard Aunt Susan still chattering on the other end. Ryan and Melissa have actual families to manage. Lauren has the twins' swim lessons on the 26th, and Jake has that work thing. You're the only one with flexibility. I work full-time, I said. My hands were shaking. I set the itinerary on the counter so she wouldn't see. I requested this time off in October. Dr. Ellis approved it. I've been picking up overtime shifts for 6 months to save for this trip. Ryan finally looked up. It's just one day, Emily. You can go to the beach any time. Something hot and sharp twisted in my chest. I can't. The rental starts tomorrow. Christmas week rates double after the 26th. I already paid. So you're choosing a vacation over your family, Melissa said. She crossed her arms. That's really selfish, you know that? I stared at her. Melissa, who'd gone to Cancun last March and stuck me with her 3 kids for 5 days. Melissa, who'd called me at 11 p.m. on a work night because Bree had a fever, and you're a nurse, you should know what to do. Melissa, who'd never once asked if I was busy or tired or had plans of my own. I'm not choosing anything, I said. I'm going on a trip I planned. You all can figure out childcare like every other parent in America. My mother's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet tone. Emily Rose Harper. We have been planning Christmas Day for 2 months. You knew the kids would need someone. You never asked me. You just announced it. I shouldn't have to ask. You're part of this family. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. The kitchen went silent, except for the sound of Melissa's wooden spoon scraping the pot. My mother picked up her phone again, and I heard Aunt Susan's voice. Susan, you still there? We're here, my mother said smoothly. Emily's just being dramatic. The kids will be dropped off at 9. I felt my face burn so hot I could feel my pulse in my teeth. I won't be here. Then I guess you'll have to cancel your trip, my mother said. She wasn't even looking at me anymore. That's when I walked out. I drove home to my apartment on Westfield Avenue, and I sat on my couch for 20 minutes staring at the packed suitcase by the door. My phone started buzzing at 3:14 p.m. Melissa, then Ryan, then a group text from my mother. Very disappointed in your selfishness. The kids are heartbroken. The kids didn't even know I was supposed to be watching them. Let me take you back 4 years to the Christmas after my father left. I was 23, in my second year of nursing school, working part-time at a urgent care clinic and living in a studio apartment that smelled like old carpet and bleach. My mother had called me on December 18th, her voice tight and fragile in that way that meant she was about to cry but wouldn't let herself. "I don't know how I'm going to do this," she'd said. "Your father took half of everything. Melissa and Ryan both have their own families now. I'm going to be alone on Christmas." I'd driven 3 hours home that night. I'd brought groceries. I'd helped her take down the couple photos from the mantel and pack away my father's things. We'd stayed up until 2 a.m., wrapping presents for Melissa's twins and Ryan's daughter. On Christmas Eve, Melissa had called. "Hey, can you watch Caden and Bree tomorrow? Jake's family is doing their thing, and I really need a break." I'd said yes because my mother was standing right there, and because Melissa sounded exhausted, and because I thought this was what families did. Christmas Day, Ryan had shown up with his daughter Zoe. "Lauren's not feeling well. Can Zoe hang out here?" By noon, there were 4 kids under 6 in my mother's living room, and I was the only adult. Melissa and Jake went to his parents' house. Ryan and Lauren went to a friend's party. My mother took a Xanax and went to bed at 2 p.m. I'd spent Christmas Day changing diapers, making mac and cheese, breaking up fights over toys, and watching Frozen twice. The kids got picked up at 8 p.m. Nobody thanked me. Melissa said, "Oh good, they're fed," and loaded them into car seats. Ryan said, "Zoe, say bye to Aunt Emily," without looking up from his phone. My mother came downstairs at 9 p.m., refreshed from her 7-hour nap, and said, "See? It all worked out." That was 4 years ago. It happened again the next Christmas, and the next, and the next. The pattern was always the same. Mid-December, my mother would announce, not ask, that I'd be watching the kids on Christmas Day. Melissa and Ryan would make sympathetic noises about how hard it was to coordinate everything, how lucky I was that I didn't have kids of my own yet, how they really needed this time with their spouses. And I'd show up, because what kind of person says no to family on Christmas? Last year, I'd watched all 5 kids from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Melissa's 3, Caden, 7, Bree, 5, and Logan, 3, plus Ryan's 2, Zoe, 8, and Mason, 2. 13 hours. No break, no help. Zoe threw up at 4 p.m., and I had to clean it while holding Mason, who was screaming because he'd missed his nap. Logan locked himself in the bathroom. Bree poured juice on the carpet. When Melissa picked them up, she'd handed me $40. "For pizza," she'd said. I'd spent $87 on food and supplies that day, plus the $180 urgent care copay for Zoe's ear infection 2 days later that I'd paid out of pocket because Melissa said her insurance was weird right now. I never asked for the money back. In March, I'd started putting money aside. $20 here, $40 there. Every overtime shift I could pick up. Night shifts paid an extra $4 an hour, and I'd worked 26 of them between March and December. I'd tracked it all in a handwritten ledger I kept in my nightstand drawer. $2,340 total. Enough for a week at a beachfront condo in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Somewhere warm, somewhere quiet, somewhere I could sit on a balcony and drink coffee and not hear the sound of cartoon theme songs or kids screaming or my mother's voice saying, "Emily, can you just..." I'd booked it in October. I'd told my mother the day I put down the deposit. She'd said, "That's nice, honey," and kept scrolling through Facebook. 2 weeks ago, she'd made the announcement. Family group chat. "Christmas schedule. Emily will have the kids all day. Everyone else can enjoy their mornings with their families. Drop off at 9 a.m. Pick up whenever works." I'd replied immediately, "I won't be there. I'm going to Alabama." My mother. "Very funny." Me. "I'm serious. I booked this in October." Melissa. We're all counting on you." Ryan. "Come on, don't be difficult." Me. "I told everyone months ago." My mother. "We'll talk about this later." We never did. She just kept planning as if I'd agreed. Now it was Christmas Eve at 3:47 p.m., and I was sitting on my couch watching my phone explode with messages. The group chat had 34 unread notifications. I opened it. Melissa, seriously? You're really going to do this? Ryan, this is so typical. Always has to make everything about her. My mother, I've sacrificed everything for this family. Your father left us with nothing. I held us together, and this is how you repay me? Melissa, the kids asked if Aunt Emily is coming tomorrow. What am I supposed to tell them? Ryan, tell them she chose a beach over her family. I sat there reading the messages, and something inside me went cold and hard. Not angry, not sad, just done. I turned off my phone. I finished packing. I set my alarm for 5 a.m., and at 6:03 a.m. on Christmas morning, I got in my car and drove to Alabama. The drive took 8 hours. I stopped twice for gas and once for coffee. My phone stayed off the entire time. I arrived at the condo at 2:17 p.m. He carried my suitcase up 2 flights of stairs, unlocked the door, and stood on the balcony looking at the ocean. It was quiet. For the first time in 4 years, I spent Christmas Day doing exactly what I wanted. I walked on the beach, I read a book, I ordered pizza, I watched the sunset, I went to bed at 9 p.m. and slept for 11 hours. I turned my phone on at 8 a.m. on the 26th. There were 127 messages. The group chat was a disaster. Melissa had posted a photo of all 5 kids crowded around my mother on her couch. Caption: when your sister abandons her family on Christmas, Grandma saves the day. 63 comments, mostly from relatives I barely knew. Aunt Susan: poor Susan, you're a saint. Uncle David: some people just don't understand family. My mother had posted separately: spent Christmas managing 5 grandchildren alone because some people think vacations are more important than family. Exhausted, but grateful for my 2 wonderful children who stayed and helped. Ryan had corrected her in the comments. We dropped them off at 9 and picked them up at 5, Mom. My mother had deleted his comment. There were 17 missed calls, 9 voicemails. I listened to 3 before I deleted the rest. Melissa: I hope you're happy. Mom's back went out lifting Mason. She's in so much pain, and it's your fault. Ryan: real mature, Emily. Really mature. My mother: I don't know who you are anymore. I sat on the balcony and drank my coffee and didn't respond to any of it. The week in Alabama was perfect. I drove to Mobile one day and walked around the historic district. I tried oysters for the first time. I sat in the sun and read 3 books. I didn't think about night shifts or patient charts or my family's expectations. I didn't feel guilty. I just felt quiet. On New Year's Eve, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. This is Valerie, your mom's sister. Can we talk? Aunt Valerie. I'd met her maybe 10 times in my life. She lived in Oregon, worked as a librarian, never married, no kids. My mother talked about her sometimes with that edge in her voice that meant she disapproved of Valerie's choices but wouldn't say it outright. I called her back. Emily, she said. Her voice was warm and steady. I'm glad you picked up. Hi, Aunt Valerie. I wanted to check on you. I've been watching the family group chat for a while now. 3 years, actually. I don't post, but I read everything. My stomach dropped. Oh. Your mother added me when she got a smartphone and figured out how group chats work. I don't think she remembers I'm on there, but I've seen every message. She paused. I've seen how they treat you. I didn't say anything. I'm really proud of you for going to Alabama, Valerie said. That took courage. My throat went tight. It doesn't feel like courage. It feels like I'm a terrible person. You're not. You're the only one setting boundaries, and they hate that. My mom keeps saying I abandoned the family. Your mom has been using you as free labor for 4 years, Valerie said flatly, and your siblings have been happy to go along with it because it's convenient. I've watched it happen in real time, every holiday, every emergency, Every time someone needs something, they call you, and you show up. That's what families do, I said. No, Valerie said. That's what people with healthy boundaries and mutual respect do. What your family does is take advantage. I sat there on the balcony watching the ocean and didn't know what to say. Listen, Valerie said. I'm flying to Chicago in March for a library conference. Can I take you to dinner? I have something I want to talk to you about. Okay, I said. And Emily? Don't let them guilt you into apologizing. You didn't do anything wrong. We hung up. I sat there until the sun went down. I drove home on January 2nd. I went back to work on January 3rd. Life returned to normal, except the group chat stayed quiet. Nobody texted me directly. It was like I'd been erased. At work, I picked up extra shifts again. Not to save for a trip this time, just to stay busy. Dr. Ellis, the physician I worked with most often, noticed. You're here a lot, he said one Thursday night at 11 p.m. We were charting in the nurses' station. The clinic was quiet. I like working, I said. No, you don't. Nobody likes working night shifts. He closed his laptop. What's going on? I told him the short version. The Christmas situation, the family fallout. He listened without interrupting. Can I give you some advice? He asked. Sure. People will take as much as you're willing to give. If you don't set the limit, they'll just keep taking. He stood up. You're a good nurse. You show up. You work hard. You care. But you can't pour from an empty cup. I'd heard that phrase before. It sounded like a motivational poster, but sitting there at 11 p.m., in a quiet clinic, it felt true. February came. Still no word from my family. I told myself I was fine with it. Some days, I believed it. On February 14th, I got a group text from Melissa. Ryan's birthday party Saturday, 6 p.m. at Mom's house. No question mark. Just an announcement. I didn't respond. On February 17th, I showed up anyway. I don't know why. Maybe because I missed them. Maybe because I was tired of feeling like I'd done something wrong. Maybe because I thought if I showed up, things would go back to normal. I walked in at 6:12 p.m. The house smelled like lasagna. Melissa was in the living room with her kids. Ryan was opening a beer. My mother was in the kitchen. Oh, Melissa said when she saw me. You actually came. I was invited, I said. Were you? She turned back to her phone. Ryan nodded at me. Hey. My mother came out of the kitchen carrying a tray of garlic bread. She looked at me for 3 full seconds without speaking. Then she said, the kids need someone to watch them upstairs. Caden has homework. Not hello, not I missed you, just a task. I stayed for 20 minutes. I ate a slice of pizza standing in the kitchen. Nobody talked to me. When I said I was leaving, my mother said, already? Like I was the rude one. I drove home and cried in my car in the parking lot for 10 minutes. Not because I was sad, because I was angry. Angry that I'd shown up. Angry that I'd expected anything different. Angry that I still cared. March 9th, Aunt Valerie flew into O'Hare. I met her at a restaurant in downtown Chicago called the Palmer House. She was already there when I arrived, sitting in a booth by the window. She looked exactly like my mother, but softer somehow. Same gray hair, same blue eyes, but her face didn't have that hard edge. She hugged me. It caught me off guard. My mother hadn't hugged me since Christmas 2022. We ordered food. We made small talk. And then Valerie said, I need to show you something. She pulled out her phone and opened the family group chat. She scrolled back, all the way back to December 2021. I've been taking screenshots, she said. Every message where they dismiss you, take advantage of you, or insult you. I've been documenting it for 3 years. My stomach dropped. Why? Because I knew this day would come. She handed me her phone. Read. I scrolled through the screenshots. Hundreds of them. Messages I'd forgotten about. Messages I'd tried to forget. December 2022. Melissa. Emily can watch the kids for New Year's. She never has plans anyway. March 2023. Ryan. Can you cover the babysitter cost? You make more than we do. July 2023. My mother. Emily. Melissa needs you to take the kids this weekend. She and Jake need couple time. August 2023. Group chat. Ryan. Emily's being dramatic again. November 2023. My mother. Some people only think about themselves. December 2023. Melissa. The kids are so disappointed Aunt Emily isn't here. I guess her vacation is more important. January 2024. My mother. I don't know who you are anymore. On and on. 3 years of casual cruelty. 3 years of assumptions. 3 years of me being the default, the backup plan, the unpaid help. I felt my face burn. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to see it, Valerie said. You need to see the pattern. This isn't about one Christmas. This isn't about you being selfish or difficult or any of the things they've called you. This is about a family that has been exploiting you for years and got angry when you finally said no. What am I supposed to do with this? Whatever you want. But I wanted you to have proof, because people like your mother are very good at rewriting history. In 6 months, she'll tell everyone that you abandoned the family for no reason. She'll make herself the victim, and everyone will believe her because she's convincing. Valerie closed her phone. But now you have proof. You have every message, every time they dismissed your plans, every time they assumed you'd be available, every time they called you selfish for having boundaries. I sat there staring at my untouched pasta. I also want you to know, Valerie said quietly, that I'm planning to be at the family Christmas Zoom this year, the annual 3 p.m. call with all the relatives. Your mom's been doing them since 2020, right? I nodded. Good, I'll be there. She smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was sharp. And I think it's time everyone heard the truth. Spring came. I worked. I went to book club. I adopted a cat and named her Stella. I didn't go to any family events. Nobody invited me. In June, Melissa had her baby, a boy, Carter. I found out from Facebook. I sent a card and a gift card. She texted back, "Thanks." In August, my mother had surgery on her back. I found out from the group chat. Ryan posted, "Mom's surgery went well. Thanks to everyone who helped." I hadn't known she was having surgery. Nobody had told me. In October, Ryan's daughter Zoe had a school play. Melissa posted photos in the group chat. My mother commented, "So proud of my beautiful granddaughter. Thank God for family who actually shows up." I left the group chat. I blocked it. I deleted the messages. November came, then December. On December 15th, I got an email from Melissa. Subject line, Christmas Zoom. Body, Annual Family Christmas Video Call. December 25th, 3 p.m. Central. Zoom link below. Mom expects everyone there. No please. No hope you can make it. Just an expectation. I stared at the email for 3 days. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Part of me wanted to show up and prove I wasn't afraid. Part of me wanted to show up just to see what would happen. On December 18th, I replied, "I'll be there." Melissa didn't respond. Christmas morning, I woke up at 8 a.m. I made coffee. I fed Stella. I read a book. At 2:54 p.m., I opened my laptop and clicked the Zoom link. The call opened. I was the 8th person there. My mother's face filled one square. Melissa, Ryan, Aunt Susan, Uncle David, cousins I hadn't seen in years. The grid kept filling. By 3:01 p.m., there were 15 people on the call. My mother started talking. "Thank you all for being here. This is so important to me. Family is everything, especially after the year we've had. I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you." Her eyes landed on my square for half a second. No reaction. "The kids are doing great," Melissa said. She held up baby Carter. He's sleeping through the night now. Zoe got straight A's, Ryan said. Susan is such a strong woman, Aunt Susan said. After everything she's been through, she still holds this family together. My mother smiled. That tight, controlled smile she used when she wanted sympathy. I do my best. It's not easy, especially when not everyone in the family values togetherness the way I do. But the ones who matter are here. I watched her say it. I watched her not look at me. I watched everyone else nod in agreement. And then Aunt Valerie's square unmuted. I'd like to say something, Valerie said. My mother's face went tight. Oh, Valerie, I didn't see you there. I've been here the whole time, Valerie said. Her voice was calm, pleasant even. I've also been in the family group chat for 3 years, the one you added me to in 2021 and then forgot about. The call went silent. I don't usually speak up, Valerie continued. I'm not one for drama, but I've spent 3 years watching this family treat Emily like unpaid help, and I think it's time everyone heard the truth. My mother's face drained of color. Valerie, this isn't the time. It's exactly the time. Valerie held up her phone to the camera. I have screenshots, hundreds of them, every message where Emily was volunteered for childcare without being asked. Every time her plans were dismissed, every time she was called selfish for having boundaries. Would you like me to read them? That's private, Melissa said. Her voice went up an octave. It's a family group chat, Valerie said. I'm family. I'm on the chat. Nothing I'm showing is private. Valerie, please, my mother said. This is Christmas. Yes, it is. Christmas. The holiday Emily spent watching 5 grandchildren for 13 hours straight last year, while the rest of you enjoyed your day. She spent $87 on food and supplies and got $40 in return. She also paid $180 for Zoe's urgent care copay that Melissa never reimbursed. Ryan's square unmuted. That's not... It is, Valerie said. December 2023. I have the receipts. Literally. Emily sent photos to the chat asking for reimbursement. Nobody responded. She scrolled on her phone. Let me read some messages. Valerie, stop, my mother said. Valerie ignored her. December 18th, 2023. Susan. Christmas schedule. Emily will have the kids all day. No question mark. No, can you? Just an announcement. Emily's response. I won't be there. I'm going to Alabama. Susan's response. Very funny. She scrolled again. December 20th. Melissa. We're all counting on you. Ryan. Don't be difficult. Susan. We'll talk about this later. Except you never did talk about it, did you, Susan? You just kept planning as if Emily had agreed. The Zoom call was dead silent. 15 people watching. Nobody moved. December 24th, Valerie continued. Susan, in Emily's kitchen, on speakerphone with Aunt Susan, saying, and I'm quoting here, Emily doesn't have a family of her own anyway, so it works out. My mother's face was white. I never said that. You did, I said. My voice came out steady, calm. You said it at 2:47 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Melissa was stirring a pot on the stove. Ryan was on his phone. I was holding my printed itinerary for Gulf Shores. You said it in front of both of them. Melissa unmuted. Emily, you're twisting. Oh. I'm not twisting anything, I said. I saved $2,340 over 6 months of night shifts to take that trip. I requested the time off in October. Dr. Ellis approved it. I showed Mom the rental confirmation 3 weeks before Christmas. She ignored it and announced I'd be babysitting anyway. You chose a vacation over family, my mother said. Her voice was shaking now. I chose myself, I said, for the first time in 4 years. Valerie unmuted again. Let me read more. March 2023. Melissa in the group chat. Emily can watch the kids for New Year's. She never has plans anyway. July 2023. Susan. Emily, Melissa needs you to take the kids this weekend. She and Jake need couple time. November 2023. Susan. Some people only think about themselves. She looked directly into the camera. Do you see the pattern? Emily was never asked. She was told. Her plans were never considered. She was just assumed to be available because she doesn't have children of her own. And when she finally set a boundary, she was called selfish. Uncle David unmuted. Is this true, Susan? My mother's hands were shaking. This is out of context. Valerie is twisting everything. Emily knows how hard it's been since David left. I've sacrificed everything for this family. I held us together. By parentifying your youngest daughter, Valerie said, by using guilt and public announcements to force her into free labor, by dismissing her life because it doesn't look like the life you think she should have. That's not fair, Melissa said. What's not fair, Valerie said, is 4 Christmases of unpaid childcare. What's not fair is announcing plans for someone without asking them first. What's not fair is punishing Emily with silent treatment and passive-aggressive posts when she finally said no. She held up her phone again. Do you want me to keep reading? I have 3 years of messages. I can go all day. My mother's screen went black. She'd turned off her camera. Her voice came through audio only. I can't believe you're doing this on Christmas. I can't believe you did it for 4 years, Valerie said. The Zoom call erupted. 5 people started talking at once. Aunt Susan was defending my mother. Uncle David was asking questions. Cousins were unmuting and muting. The chat box filled with messages. I sat there watching it happen. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt tired. Melissa's screen went black, then Ryan's. Then my mother's square disappeared entirely. She'd left the call. Valerie's face stayed calm. I've sent everyone screenshots. Check your emails. Every message, every dismissal, every assumption, every time Emily was volunteered without consent. It's all there. Make your own conclusions. She looked directly at my square. Emily, I'm proud of you. Your grandmother would be proud of you too. Then she left the call. The Zoom stayed open for another 10 minutes. People kept talking, asking questions, sending private messages. I closed my laptop at 3:47 p.m. My phone started buzzing immediately. Text from Aunt Susan. I had no idea. Text from Uncle David. Call me when you can. Text from a cousin I hadn't spoken to in 5 years. I'm so sorry. Nothing from my mother. Nothing from Melissa. Nothing from Ryan. At 6:23 p.m., my phone rang. Aunt Valerie. How are you doing? She asked. I don't know, I said. That's fair. For what it's worth, I think you handled that beautifully. You stayed calm. You stated facts. You didn't attack anyone. I didn't feel beautiful. I felt mean. Truth isn't mean, Valerie said. Truth is just truth. What they did with it is mean. My mom left the call. Of course she did. She's been rewriting this story for 4 years. You just showed everyone the real version. I sat on my couch with Stella purring in my lap. What happens now? Whatever you want to happen, Valerie said. You can reconcile if they apologize. You can set new boundaries. You can walk away entirely, but the one thing you can't do anymore is pretend this was normal. We talked for 20 more minutes. When we hung up, I fed Stella and made dinner and didn't check my phone for the rest of the night. The next morning, I had 43 new messages. Most were from extended family. Supportive, apologetic, shocked. 3 were from Ryan's wife, Lauren. I didn't know. Ryan never told me any of this. I'm so sorry. 1 was from Melissa, sent at 2:14 a.m. You made Mom cry. I hope you're happy. I deleted it. 1 week later, I got a call from Dr. Ellis. Someone called the clinic asking questions about your employment. My stomach dropped. Who? Didn't leave a name. Asked if you really worked here. Asked about your schedule in December 2023. I told them I couldn't discuss employee information. He paused. But between us, your shift logs are solid. If someone's questioning your credibility, you have proof. Thanks, I said. Emily, I don't know what's going on with your family, but I've worked with you for 3 years. You're reliable. You're honest. You show up. Don't let anyone make you doubt that. I didn't hear from my mother for 6 weeks. In early February, she texted, "We need to talk." I didn't respond. In March, she texted again, "I'm trying to reach out. You're being unreasonable." I blocked her number. In April, Melissa sent an email. Subject line, Ryan's daughter's baptism. Body, May 12th, 2 p.m., St. Mark's Church, family only. You're invited if you can be civil. I didn't respond. In June, my mother sent a letter, physical mail, 3 pages, handwritten. Dear Emily, I've had time to think about what happened at Christmas. I know you're upset, and I understand that. But I think you're overreacting. Family has disagreements. That doesn't mean we throw everything away. Your father left us. I worked 2 jobs. I held this family together. I asked you for help because I thought you wanted to be involved. I never meant to make you feel used. If I hurt you, I'm sorry. But you hurt me too. That Zoom call was humiliating. Valerie had no right to air our private business in front of the whole family. I've been getting calls from relatives for months. Some of them are judging me. Do you understand what that feels like? I'm asking you to forgive me, to move past this, to come home. Love, Mom. I read it twice. I noticed what she said. If I hurt you. Not I hurt you. Not I was wrong. Just if. I noticed what she didn't say. You were right. I should have asked. I took advantage. I'll change. I folded the letter and put it in a drawer. 1 year later, I'm still at Willow Creek Family Health Clinic. I'm still picking up night shifts, but now I'm saving for a house, not a vacation. I adopted a second cat and named her Luna. I started taking a pottery class on Thursday nights. I went to Gulf Shores again last Christmas, solo again, and it was even better the second time. My mother and I don't speak. Melissa sent a Christmas card last year with a photo of all 4 kids, no note. I sent back a generic Happy Holidays card. Ryan texts me occasionally, superficial stuff. Happy birthday. Hope work is good, I respond politely. We're not close. Aunt Valerie and I have dinner every few months. She's teaching me how to set boundaries without guilt. It's harder than it sounds. Some relatives ask when I'm going to reconcile with my mother. I tell them I'm open to it if she acknowledges what happened. So far, she hasn't. Last week, I got a text from Lauren, Ryan's wife. Zoe asks about you sometimes. She misses you. I know it's complicated, but if you ever want to see her, just let me know. I said yes. We're getting coffee next Saturday. Just me and Zoe. No Ryan. No expectations. Just an aunt and a niece who used to be close. I'm learning that family isn't about who shares your blood. It's about who respects your boundaries, who asks instead of assumes, who values your time and your life and your choices. I'm also learning that you don't need anyone's permission to have value, but you do need to give yourself permission to walk away from people who treat you like you don't. If you're watching this and you've ever been the default person, the one everyone calls, the one who always shows up, the one whose plans are always flexible, I want you to type something in the comments. If you've walked away from someone you love to protect yourself, type, "I walked away." Or if you stayed and fought for your boundaries while staying connected, type, "I stayed and fought." Both are brave, both are valid. And if this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. Merry Christmas, wherever you are.